Greetings, friends! It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush, and today I have mashed together some videos of different collages that I have done to talk about my process. As you can see, I am using photos from magazines, from catalogs, from old wall calendars, and anything that has the right weight of paper, as well as a shiny semi-glossy surface, as well as good quality. Some magazines today are printed on such flimsy, thin paper that it just doesn't work for a good collage. So I've done everything from, as you could see, there was a succulent agave plant and landscapes like this. Forest fire was inspired by the fires we were going through in California last year, or was it the year before? And I try and get the right values so that even if I've got the wrong colors, it all blends together correctly in your mind, in your mind's eye. A lot of the paper I have torn, but some I cut to be nice and crisp on the edges, like the man here in this forest fire. The background, you can see, is torn because it has all these white fringy edges. And when it comes to fringy edges, it's okay for backgrounds, but you don't want it on a face or something that you want to be the focal point, really. Even the background on this one, I cut all of the pieces for the sky. I did not want them to have the fringy areas. This is my grandfather. And you can see I start with a nice watercolor based paper, and then I glue with rubber cement all the pieces down onto that paper once I have drawn it, and my drawing is as I want it. If you don't start with a good drawing, a good solid composition, you might as well not start gluing paper because it won't look right. This little old lady really charmed me with the wrinkles in her face. And so as you can see, all of those papers are cut to fit the space, not torn. And sometimes when I'm using with very, very small pieces of paper, I'll use my tweezers. These are special tweezers they're really used for stamp collecting. But it works real well for these little pieces that I want to glue onto my collage. So often when somebody says they make collages, they're taking big pictures and just gluing them together one over the top of the other to keep the picture, the composition of the picture in each piece. I'm tearing these pieces so that you can't see what the original piece actually was. Even the words that are still in the little magazine colors are turned sometimes upside down so that you're not necessarily reading the composition of the original piece, but you're seeing the overall effect on the finished piece to create a completely different picture. This one had a lot of challenges because the lady's face is in shadow. She has a book on her lap, she's reading, and in the background there are a lot of buildings that had to have the correct perspective. I ended up working on this piece for weeks and weeks to get the perspective correct, to get all the windows in, and then put little tiny plants in the windows. Many of my collages are for sale on my Etsy page. If you wanted to go and check out Dancing Paintbrush Co. at Etsy.com, you can find many of my pieces for sale. Gives me a real charge to know that I have saved the planet in some small way by using up pieces of magazines and catalogs and circulars that would have been thrown into the trash or be filling up some landfill somewhere. Instead, I've created art. Several of my pieces I've entered in art shows and have won many awards. A couple of times I even got Best of Show, which was a real charge. That is my little granddaughter when she was only about 5. And here you can see I sketch it all out. I have a photo reference that I start with, and I draw it all out in pencil before I even begin gluing on paper. Here the pieces are almost finished. I'm almost finished with the gluing process. I have to do those little tiny red lacings on the baseballs. The piece I did with the Dodgers hat has already sold, but this one with the 49ers hat has not sold. It is available on Etsy. You see I'm cutting these little teeny red pieces for the lacing. And my little dog thinks she hears somebody outside. Well, I do hope that you've enjoyed seeing the process on some of these. I've been doing this type of collage for the past 10 years, I think, and I've created illustrations for children's books with it as well. So I've really enjoyed it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Do subscribe and check out some of my links below, and come again. See you next time. Bye, everyone.